Welcome back. We are joined now by Tracy Moffett from Royal LePage Westwin. It's great to have you back on the show, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we are talking today about a very interesting topic, buying a house sight unseen. It sounds ludicrous, but it's happening more and more.
It is, you know, especially with this busy market. We've seen people do it this year. Seeing it more from the coast, like people coming up from the coast, because it's a little, you know, frenzied down there, and they think it's like that here, and it's happened, and it's not unrealistic to do it.
So, what is involved in this? What do people need to consider?
Well, first things first, like you need to know kind of like your budget and location. Like if you can figure out obviously what that is, you know, where you would like to be. Do you want to be close to schools? Do you want to be close to open space, like that sort of stuff? Have an actual, I don't want to say formula, but make sure you stick to that. If you're like, oh, we'll go here, we'll go there, we'll do, it just makes it that much harder. So know exactly what you want, know what's negotiable on your list and what's not negotiable.
Have you dealt with clients that have gone through this?
Yes, absolutely. They're just like, oh, it doesn't matter to us, we'll do that. And it's like, okay, we have multiple areas in town, so you have to really start getting to know them very quickly so you can interpret what you think they would want and not want.
Absolutely, and it's stressful if they're not from here. It's one thing to know the city. I know when I moved back here, back in 2004, we bought a house that I didn't walk through until we bought it. But I know the city. And I had a really good feel as to where it was, what neighborhood it was in. Yes, it's always a bit of a surprise when you walk through for the first time. You're like, oh, it's not what I thought in some ways, but it's more, but at least know the city, hopefully.
And we don't want to get blamed, obviously.
And that's what makes it stressful for the realtor, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate too. I'm born and raised here, so I know the city very well, and I know the different areas down to the streets and all of that. So you want to make sure that you are hooked up with a realtor that can help you along that way.
Totally. We have slides. Have we passed through any of them that we've talked about already? Let's take a look. What do you want?
So basically what I was saying before, know what you want, zero in on your budget and location, and tell your realtor what's negotiable to you and what's not. Have a list. Some of the stuff we'll look at and we'll go, you know, we'll kind of not ignore it, but put it on the back burner because there's other kind of more important things to focus on, and budget being one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the next slide.
So you're new to the city. You're not, obviously not New York. That's my example there, but you're not sure where things are, where parks are, schools are. If you go on to Google Maps, they give you a ton of information. It'll show you, you know, restaurants, parks, school. Utilize Google Maps and Google Earth. I know myself personally, when I go on vacation, I will use Google Maps and go to the satellite view to look at, or the street view to look and see what's around you. You know, because you only get a one-dimensional view of a house. You see the front part of the house, but you don't necessarily see the house 3 doors down that's filled with uninsured vehicles or you know, an unkept yard and stuff. So if you go into Google Maps or Google Earth, that'll give you a lot of information too.
So I get a better feel for the neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Next slide.
So social media. Social media is huge, obviously, nowadays. Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter. Utilize that. You know, put it on your status that you're thinking about moving to a different city. You never know who's living there that can offer you a lot of advice. Take advantage of the different areas that people are talking about, and maybe the areas that they're saying stay away from. So using social media to your full advantage and reaching out to all the people that you're connected with will be a huge benefit too. They can give you lots of tips and advice.
Okay, all right.
So enlisting the help of friends and parents, you can always, like, we don't mind taking parents through a house or friends through a house to preview it for you, just to, they can, you know, tell you it's looks like this, or it's by that house 3 doors down. So, you know, just, you're not bothering us if we're taking your friends and family through too.
Yeah, because you trust their judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And of course, you might want to get out your old school recorder, but ask your real estate agent to maybe take some video for you. Again, you've got a picture of the dining room, but you don't necessarily know that it's situated right, you know, you're looking onto a 6-foot ugly fence. So have them take videos of what it's going to look like, say through the windows, again, down the street. Again, just more information. It'll make it easier for your decision.
Okay, and then
Oh yeah, and like we were talking about before, bracing for the impact. When you walk through the house, you've bought in the house, now you're moving in, and you're like, oh my God, this is not what I envisioned when you thought you were buying the place. Just keep in mind, room sizes change. When you look at a vacant house, it can all of a sudden look small. But once you start putting pieces of furniture in, you realize, oh, okay, this room's a little bit bigger than I thought. Or don't be surprised if you thought the hallway went one way, but it actually goes this way. Right. So be prepared for those surprises. And once you move in and settle down, chances are everything will work out. It'll be okay.
Absolutely. And I think that's fun.
Yeah, when in doubt, if you're not sure, rent. You know, rent for 6 months to a year, get to know the area. A lot of people do that. And then you can make an informed decision at that time later down the road.
So the clients that you've had that have done this, have they been mostly from Vancouver, just looking to come up here? And
yes, the ones that I've personally dealt with, I found a lot have been from the lower mainland coming up, and you know what, and jobs too, like they're super busy, but also having to make decisions quickly because our spring market and coming into the fall too, we're going to ramp up again. It's going to get busier in the fall. Just, it has happened. So it's not something that's uncommon. It's not ideal, but it's stuff that we have seen this year.
Would you say this past spring has been one of the busiest that you've seen in a while?
Yes, in certain areas of town. It seems to, the last, I'd say 5 years have been busy, but every year we're creeping up, like we're increasing by 5%, by 7%, by 8%, just depending on the month. But different funny things are happening, you know, like people making offers that haven't seen these houses, getting into multiple offer situations, and having cover letters with pictures of the people that are buying the house and a little story saying, this is why I want to buy your house. So little things here and there that we haven't normally seen in the past are kind of happening because people are desperate and not desperate, but wanting to get in a house. So yeah, lots of interesting stories. I'm sure if you talk to your real estate agent, they could tell you lots of interesting stories.
Very interesting. Okay, we are out of time. I appreciate the tips on this. It's a whole new way of buying houses for sure. Yeah,
it's different, but it's doable.
Yes, doable. Tracy, thank you for being here. If you have any questions for Tracy, you can absolutely give her a call. You can also look her up online, tracymoffett.com. Back after a quick break. Stay with us.